When I got to Everest Base Camp and I saw Everest for the first time with my own eyes, I was hooked. And the people that were there, the people that saw me staring at it, could see that I was just infatuated with it.
Raha, what was your parents' reaction when you told them that you want to start climbing mountains?
The smaller one was even a worse reaction than Everest, because the first one I started with was Kilimanjaro. So in the beginning, I called my mom. I told her I have this idea. I want to climb this mountain. She's like, you tell your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's going to take this.
So from that moment, of course, you have had an interesting journey and you climbed so many summits after that. Tell my viewers about that.
So after I decided to climb Kilimanjaro, I convinced them. I trained and I went to Kilimanjaro. It was a very difficult experience. Imagine I went from thinking a 4-star hotel is camping to actually camping. I got hypothermia, I got snowblind. It was emotionally and physically difficult, but I loved it. You could see that I was a completely different person. I came back just so happy and so excited, telling them so many stories and pictures, and they could see it. They could see that there's a new passion that I found. And then from that moment, I decided to slowly climb slightly more advanced, slightly bigger mountains. Immediately after Kili, I got invited to be part of the first 10 Saudi women to get to Everest Base Camp. And then I decided to plan the next year. So I emailed the company that takes people to Everest, and I told them I want to do Everest and what are the mountains that I should do, and give me a list of things, because initially they're like, you're not ready, you don't have the experience. And they gave me a list of mountains, and I did 8 mountains in a year.
Wow, 8 mountains in a year. I don't know another person who's done it. I've never
to get
met
ready.
anybody personally. Yes.
And they went from Kili, because Kili was also one of them. I did Kilimanjaro, Everest Base Camp, 2 volcanoes in Mexico, the highest peak in Europe, the highest peak in South America, the highest peak in Antarctica. So they were all somewhat difficult. The highest peak in South America is almost 7,000 meters. And people usually do it with oxygen, and I did it without oxygen to train for Everest. So you can imagine, I didn't tell my dad about Everest yet at that point when I was doing all this mountain, until finally I got an email saying that the registration for Everest is gonna close. And I panicked. Okay, I said, okay, now I have to tell him. And I was in Antarctica trying to get back. There was a storm, and I was stuck in Antarctica trying to get back home for my birthday. It was January. And I landed back finally. We got on a plane. 24 hours later, I landed back, and my dad said, happy birthday. What would you like? And I said, Everest. I want Everest. He just looked at me. I think he panicked in his head, and he just left the room, and he didn't know what to say. And then he came back a few days later and said, no, I'm not ready. No, this is not gonna happen. And I kind of accepted that I wasn't ready. And I said, okay, fine, maybe next year. A few days later, he came to me and said, I signed you up. I think you should go. I told him, what made you change your mind? He's like, I believe that if you think you can do it, you can. Just promise me that if you ever need to come back, you will never push yourself beyond your capabilities. And I promise you, my dad said, I promise you that if you come back without finishing it, I'll send you back again.
Okay.
Just promise me that you will make the right decision to come back and not push yourself. I was always very curious and very fearless, and my parents could see that very early on. And bless them, they never oppressed it. They never told me to stop being this way. Majority of my childhood, I was equal to him, and I competed with my brother. And recently I watched like 30 hours worth of family videos, and I'm with him and my dad most of the time, not with my mom and my sister. So I've always been very, very, slightly tomboyish, but just very adventurous and very cute, always. I swam, I horseback ride, I did everything I could do because I was just so hyper. And it translated into a hyper curious adult as well. So I'm the same, I think I'm exactly the same person, just an adult version. I didn't change.
For an Arab woman, and especially Saudi, it's almost unheard of, a Saudi woman to really have ambition, firstly, and secondly, ambition like this.
This kind.
This kind. What was your mindset when you actually thought of doing something like this?
Growing up, I always felt a little bit different. So I knew that I was not the typical Saudi girl. I like different things. My interests were not the same as my girlfriends in school. So I was kind of prepared for being a different adult. I knew I was going to be odd, being someone else, ever. And every time I looked at my family for guidance, what I should do, they always said, do what you believe you should do, be who you are. And I always, not with that exact same sentence, but they never told me to change, ever.
They never stopped you from
No, we had arguments, we had disagreements as normal family would, but I can't remember them ever telling me to stop being who I am, ever, which is a blessing. Not many people in general and women in specific get this privilege.
How has people's perception changed towards you?
Not enough, I think. Not as Raha, as a Saudi woman, not enough. I think people should really see my achievement as an indication of massive change. But I get it as, I always get this, oh yeah, she just wanted to do something for herself and she's a unique case. No, I'm not a unique case. I'm a very average young girl from a very average background who dreamed big. So why are we still treating the rest of the masses as not capable?
There are a lot of stereotypes attached to women, Arab women, Saudi Arabian women.
The region.
The region itself, and
it extends.
Exactly, and stereotypes attached to women in general who's trying to do something big and women who have big dreams. Right now, do you feel responsible to kind of break those stereotypes, or you just living your dreams and you're going about it in a very strategic way?
Initially, I remember I came back I had just landed back from Everest. I was tired, I was exhausted, I didn't feel like dealing with anybody, and there was a lot of media and people in my face. And I was complaining. I was like, I hate this. I just want to be left alone. And people would take pictures and I looked like hell. And I just wanted to be left alone. And one of my climbing partners, who was a significantly older gentleman, looked at me and said, Raha, I was with you on the mountain for 2 months and I heard you complain about how things don't change. Guess what? Now you can change them. So stop complaining about them giving you attention and use it. He's like, you have a chance to change perceptions. You have a chance to change what you always hated, which is a stereotype. Do something about it. And that's the first time where it clicked that it was a responsibility. If no one knew my name, if everybody forgot who I was, and a girl comes up to me and says, I did this because you climbed that mountain.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Absolutely.
That would be more than enough of a legacy for me to leave behind.
Well, things are changing right now.
They are, but I think not fast enough. They are changing, but I don't think fast enough.
No, the fact that I'm sitting here today with a Saudi woman who's climbed Everest, things are changing. It is. Maybe not at a pace that we want it to be, but it's still on that journey of evolution.
But I just climbed the mountain. Why is that such a big deal? I want other girls to come after me and make my achievement look like nothing. I want more, you know what I mean? I want climbing Everest for it to be another thing in the past, because so many great things came after it. I want that.
And it will.
Yeah.
It will. But
I
then
hope so.
You will always be inspiring those little girls who is either watching this interview or have watched a lot of
That would mean more to me than any kind of recognition, because that's what I wanted growing up.
What would you like to tell those girls and boys and men and women who would like to do something like you've done, or who would just like to get inspired today just hearing your story?
If a Saudi woman could stand on top of the world for however brief, what makes your dreams too far to reach? It's what I did was nothing compared to what you are capable of doing. For the girls and also for the boys, we have a voice, use it. You have passion, show it. Your parents will and always will be the key keepers of your dreams in our culture. We are not able to just branch out and do what we want. They are a part of who we are. So be smart about them. Tell them, share your aspirations. Don't feel like just because they are different to you, they will not understand. I guarantee you my parents do not understand why I do this, but they still understand that I need to do this. So never be shy to share your dreams. Be honest to yourself about what makes you happy. And for the girls, also pick your battles.
Very important. I always tell that to people on a daily basis. Pick your battles.
Yeah. You will not win them all. You will lose a lot. But if you try to win everything, you will lose everything. Just pick, especially for girls in the region, pick your battles. I lost a lot of battles, but I was very smart and very tactical in choosing the ones that I stuck my ground in. So always be honest with what you really care about, what matters to you. Don't just let things slide. If it really matters to you, then
do it.
Then do it. If it's a silly thing, don't anger your family just because it's something silly. Think about the future. Something bigger.
Bigger picture.
Yes, something bigger might come along and you need them as allies. So be very smart.
Last but not the least, define yourself in one word.
Curious.
Yay! I think we had a great interview. Thank you so much for letting me in.
Thanks for coming so early.
And I'm so inspired right now, just listening to your story and all the moments that you've had. And I'm so glad
happy we did this.
And I'm so glad that I got an opportunity to talk to you like this. And I'm sure my viewers must have enjoyed the interview.
Thank you so much for having me. Till next time, I guess.
Yes, of course. See you soon.